One of the most important things in any job hunting process is essentially to have the right connections. Whether that's the primary way in which you get the job or whether it's simply an accelerant to the overall process, having the right connections and knowing how to get more connections is pretty fundamental. And so we're going to go through a couple different tools that help you kind of surface people you could connect with or information about connections. And one of the obvious tools and most important is LinkedIn. It isn't just a place for you to put an advertisement about your own skills. It's a place that you can go mine information that has really no end when it comes to kind of business related information and people that work there. Even from simple stuff, looking at updates from people that are already in your network. Are there people who have gone to work for a company that you want to work for? Have they recently left the company and maybe there's a position open? You also want to take a look at how often has your profile been viewed and who's been viewing it. You may have recruiters who are viewing your profile. You may have potential employers who are viewing your profile. You can very simply go through and see who's been doing that and start making some connections that way. Another big thing is actually leveraging advanced search, right? You can do searches that are extremely narrow. So you could say, I want to find director of product marketing as a current title working for Apple, and I'll get 10 results. I can even filter that down by zip code. If I was looking for Intel, they have obviously an office that's fairly large in California, and they have one in Hillsboro, Oregon. I can choose to filter my search so I'm looking for people that are in that role that are in Hillsboro as opposed to in the state of California. Another big thing, though, is that you can save these searches so they can literally be sent to you as email when new people meet the filter that you've set up. You can say save search, you can give it a name, and it will simply tell you whether you get weekly, monthly, daily updates in this. And what happens is this gets pushed to your inbox and 8 new people match the search, 100 new people match the search, and then you can start to build up a database from there. So it's a great simple way to have LinkedIn be somewhat of a push mechanism for getting you new contacts. And obviously there's more filters beyond that. Some of these filters you see here show up when you have advanced levels of access. Interestingly enough, you can do things like filter down by schools, right? So you could start to search for an individual school name and see if people match that. You can filter by industries or the degree of connection you have. You can filter by years of experience, seniority level, whether the people are in the Fortune 1000 or not. So for example, if I wanted to look for people who are directors of product marketing, let's say I wanted to look near Portland, Oregon, this is a zip near my own home, and I wanted to say within 75 miles, and I start the search off. So I get 72 results, but then I want to filter that down further. I can say how many people came from the U of O, and I can continue to filter that down until I get to some kind of reasonable set. So here I could filter and say someone in the Fortune 50 to 100, there's a single result. And again, you could save this search and basically then have this search as it finds new people that fit those criteria, just have that sent to you in email. Another big thing about LinkedIn is leveraging groups. And I find that this isn't leveraged as much as it could be. There's a group for just about everything. So if you were interested in working for a company that was involved in mobile development, you may want to look at a group like the iOS developers group or iOS and Mac developers, or you can go search for something more mobile, right? So mobile marketing and advertising has 45,000 members. Some of these groups you have to join to essentially see. Some of them are open groups as they call it. Really that choice is up to you and depending on how many groups you want to join. You have a maximum of 50 groups you can join in LinkedIn, and you can even set your messaging settings so you get information about the group on a daily, weekly basis. The benefit of participating in a group is that you see individuals who are of the same mind in the same subject. So you can engage in conversations with individuals, you can reply back to them individually, you can like their posts, and you can start to build connections in areas that are tied to a topic or an industry that you want to track. And you can even create a little visibility for yourself. If you post interesting content or questions, it's a good way to do that. And when you do your searching, you can actually search by these groups. So if we go back to the standard search and we take away some of the filters we had, I can actually open up groups here and it'll show me some of the groups I'm in. I could type additional ones. And so I could say for sales and marketing VPs or executive suite, right? I can specify, are they in this group? And I'll get those particular individuals. That's a great way to filter down this wealth of data that LinkedIn gives you. LinkedIn isn't the only thing in town. There's other business social networks that you can leverage. Zing is one of them. It's a little more focused on European companies, but I'm finding an increasing amount of people from the US actually showing up in this as well. And it's a very similar site. It has, jobs and careers and groups and events, and you can look at individual profiles and the like. If you're out there job hunting, it doesn't hurt to have additional profiles on other networks. having a big social footprint is not a bad thing, particularly if you're kind of known for using those channels to communicate information about your capabilities and kind of your ability to impact the business. Along those lines, you also obviously might want to leverage Twitter. And you can do big searches on Twitter to go find information about people, but there's a much easier way at times to do that. Let's say I wanted to find people who were very focused on competitive intelligence, and I wanted to see kind of who were popular on Twitter. There'll be a list here of people that essentially map to that. So these are people that are considered popular folks on Twitter talking about the subject of competitive intelligence. I could also go ahead and look at something as broad-based as marketing. And obviously there's going to be a lot more people for that, but this stack ranks for me who are some of the most influential people related to marketing. And you can see most influential, or you could flip it to see most followers. This is a great way to build out connections on Twitter. Another thing is Twitter chats. These are Twitter conversations that happen at a particular period in time. One of them is LinkedIn chat. And so, you find the time, you go into Twitter and you join the chat via Twitter and you participate and get to meet a lot of people that way. If you engage in Twitter and you follow the right people, you should be able to build up your connection network, and it may be a whole nother way to essentially make connections with people in companies. Finally, one of the last things to take a look at is social Q&A. There can be a lot of activity on these sites, Quora being a good example of one that's just focused really on social Q&A. And you can go through and look for individual topics. So if I wanted to find people who were talking about Apple products, I could go do that. I could find people that are talking about Android. I could find people that are talking about different business and subject areas, about finance. And when I look at an individual category, what I'll see is, some of the best questions that are there. I'll see the top answerers in this category. And it's fairly straightforward to actually, once you're in, go ahead and send a message, figure out wherever else this person is. And it's a great way to show you have knowledge about an industry, to take someone's question like this that maybe they post, or someone's answer, and reflect on it, vote it up, provide additional commentary. It's a great way to get visibility and kind of be seen in a network of people that might be very meaningful for you when you're looking for jobs and opportunities. These are very straightforward things that you can use: LinkedIn, Zing, various Twitter techniques, and social Q&A. And all of them can help you build out your connections and your network and hopefully land you the job you're looking for.
We hope this Beyond B-School presentation takes you another step closer to your career dream. Thanks for listening.